The year was 1913. A man named Noble Drew Ali founded the Moorish Science Temple of America in Newark, New Jersey. The nation was still grappling with the wounds of slavery. Jim Crow laws were tightening their grip across the South. Black people were searching for identity and agency in a country that denied them both. Drew Ali's teachings offered a compelling narrative. He claimed that black Americans were descended from the Moors of North Africa. These Moors were a mighty and learned people. They had ruled Spain for centuries. Drew Ali's message resonated deeply with those seeking pride and a connection to a glorious past. The Moorish Science Temple blended what are falsely known as elements of Islam, Christianity, and black nationalism. It emphasized self-reliance, upliftment, and spiritual enlightenment. Followers adopted Moorish names and attire. They saw themselves as a distinct nation within a nation. The movement's popularity surged. It offered a sense of belonging and empowerment. It also provided practical tools for navigating a hostile society. However, it faced its share of internal strife and external suspicion. Drew Ali's death in 1929 left a void. The movement splintered into factions. Still, the legacy of the Moorish Science Temple lived on. It laid the groundwork for future iterations of black sovereignty movements. What does it mean to be sovereign in a nation built on the land of your ancestors? For Moorish citizens, it's about reclaiming a birthright denied. They argue that treaties signed by their Moorish ancestors guarantee them rights and privileges that supersede US law according to Article 6, Clause 2. The Supremacy Clause states that treaties made under the authority of the United States are the supreme law of the land, and judges in every state are bound by them. This belief hinges on a rejection of traditional citizenship. Moorish citizens do not acknowledge the authority of government codes, policies, and ordinances not ordained by the Constitution. They view themselves as exempt from taxes, driver's licenses, and other regulations not protected by the Constitution. This stance stems from a deep-seated mistrust of a system they believe is inherently biased against them based on the actions of its past. Moorish citizens point to historical injustices. They cite the legacy of slavery, segregation, and systemic racism. These realities, they argue, invalidate any claim of legitimacy by the US government over their lives. I mean, how can they prove to have the Moors' best interest at heart with the actions they currently take? This ideology, while rooted in historical grievance, often clashes with the abuse of power in the legal system. It creates tension and misunderstandings. It can lead to confrontations with law enforcement. The Wakefield standoff in 2021 brought these tensions into sharp focus. The early morning hours of July 3, 2021. A group of heavily armed men dressed in tactical gear stopped their vehicles on Interstate 95 in Wakefield, Massachusetts. They identified themselves as members of a Moorish citizen group called Rise of the Moors. This incident, which unfolded live on social media, set off a tense standoff with state police. The men claimed they were traveling from Rhode Island to Maine on a training mission. They refused to surrender their weapons. They insisted they were operating under their constitutional laws. The standoff lasted for hours. It snarled traffic and raised anxieties across the region. It ended peacefully with the arrest of 11 men. But the incident left a lasting impression. The Wakefield standoff thrust Moorish citizens into the national spotlight. It sparked a debate about gun control, law enforcement tactics, and the boundaries of free speech. It also highlighted the complexities of an ideology often misunderstood and misrepresented. The aftermath of the Wakefield standoff saw the arrested men face a slew of charges. These included illegal possession of firearms, ammunition, and body armor. They argued that they were exercising their Second Amendment rights. They claimed they were not subject to state laws. This defense, however, did not hold up in court. The men were convicted on multiple counts. Their case underscores the challenges faced by Moorish citizens in navigating the legal system. Courts across the country have consistently rejected the legal arguments put forth by Moorish citizens. Judges have ruled that these claims lack merit. They maintain that all citizens are subject to the same laws. This clash between ideology and legal reality often leaves Moorish citizens feeling marginalized. They see the justice system as another arm of a government that seeks to oppress them. It fuels a cycle of mistrust and alienation. Beyond the law, social perception, and Moorish identity, the legal challenges are only one facet of the story. Moorish citizens also grapple with negative social perceptions. They are often stereotyped as anti-government extremists or fringe conspiracy theorists, when in fact they are pro-government, having a hand in creating the true government. The Wakefield standoff, with its imagery of armed men in tactical gear, only reinforced these perceptions. This negative portrayal ignores the diversity within the Moorish Science Temple and related movements. Not all adherents subscribe to the same beliefs or tactics. There is a spectrum of views on engagement with the government and the use of legal means to address grievances. Many Moorish Americans simply seek to live their lives according to their religious and cultural beliefs. They focus on community upliftment, self-improvement, and spiritual growth. It is crucial to acknowledge this diversity and avoid painting an entire group with a single brushstroke. Echoes of the past black sovereignty movements. The struggle for black sovereignty in America did not begin with the Moorish Science Temple. It has deep roots in the nation's history. It stretches back to the first Africans brought to these shores in chains. From slave rebellions led by figures like Nat Turner to the rise of black nationalism in the 20th century, the quest for self-determination has been a constant thread. The formation of all black towns and communities, like the legendary Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, speaks to this yearning for autonomy. These movements, while diverse in their ideologies and approaches, share a common goal: liberation from a system rigged against them. They seek to create spaces where black people can thrive, free from discrimination and oppression. The Moorish Divine National Movement, with its emphasis on self-reliance and its rejection of white supremacy, can be seen as part of this broader historical continuum. The fight continues civil rights, not human rights, in the 21st century. The fight for black sovereignty is inextricably linked to the ongoing struggle for civil rights in America. From police brutality and mass incarceration to economic inequality and voter suppression, black communities continue to face systemic barriers. The Black Lives Matter movement, which surged to prominence in recent years, has brought renewed attention to these issues. It has galvanized a new generation of activists demanding justice and equality. The quest for sovereignty in its various forms reflects a desire for true self-determination. It is about having a say in the decisions that affect black lives. It is about shaping a future free from the shackles of the past. Looking ahead, black sovereignty in 2024 and beyond. As we look to the future, the question of black sovereignty remains as relevant as ever, mainly because black isn't an identity. How can black communities achieve true self-determination in a society grappling with its legacy of racism? The answers are complex and multifaceted. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. However, several key themes emerge. Economic empowerment is crucial. Closing the racial wealth gap, supporting black-owned businesses, and investing in black communities are essential steps. Political participation is vital. Increasing voter registration and turnout, electing officials who represent black interests, and holding those in power accountable are all critical. And finally, education and awareness remain paramount. Teaching them their true history, challenging racist narratives, and fostering dialogue are essential for creating a more just and equitable society. The journey towards black. Moorish sovereignty is ongoing. It is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires unwavering commitment, strategic action, and a belief in the possibility of a better tomorrow. The year 2024 and beyond will undoubtedly bring new challenges and opportunities. It is up to this generation to seize the moment and continue the fight for liberation.